Hey there, welcome back to the Awesome Life podcast. I'm Karen Stultz, your host today, and I'm here with an extraordinary man, Roy Biancalana. Did I say that correctly?
That's very good, very good.
He's a master in creating relationships, and we just created a good relationship because you're one of the first guess that I didn't butcher the last name.
No problem, although mine has been butchered many, many times.
Well, I want to tell you a little bit why I have this wonderful gentleman, Roy, with me. And like I say, I have awesome guests, and he sounds like an amazing, wonderful person. The Awesome Life podcast is for women in transition who are looking for something else, maybe not knowing where they want to go, what they want to do, or maybe just how to do something that fills their hearts, that fills their soul with love. And the Awesome Life podcast delivers that, I hope, for these women. And so Roy is a certified relationship coach. He's a nationally recognized expert in the field of attraction and conscious relationships. And I love that word, conscious. We do need to be more conscious, don't we, Roy? He's the author of 3 #1 best-selling books, the latest of which is a relationship Bootcamp, hardcore training for life, love, and the pursuit of intimacy. For the last 15 years, Roy has been supporting single people in the art of attracting healthy, sustainable, intimate relationships. And his experience has taught him that getting in relationship shape is the key to attracting lasting love. And although the show is not focused on the lasting love, it is absolutely all things are a relationship, everything, whether it is with your children, with your spouse, with your non-spouse, with whomever, a colleague at work. It's all about relationships. And I knew that if Roy had cracked the code for creating a sustainable, loving relationship in life with singles, he was the man who could really help us make our relationships in life a lot easier. So how did you come around to this kind of focus, I guess, Roy?
Yeah. So I've got quite a story, and I must say that I like the idea of women in transition, because what I do and what I'm going to be talking about is how to make the transition perhaps from unhealthy relationships that don't last to relationships that do last, and perhaps women in transition that are between relationships, maybe have gone through a divorce or a breakup, and they're wanting to start something new and maybe have it turn out better than the last one. So that's the focus of the conversation that we're going to have. And the reason for it is because that's been really the story of my life. So very quickly, I was married for 19 years, and that relationship became a very platonic one. We functioned well as parents. We raised a son together, but we lost the man-woman type of connection. We lost our attraction for one another. And so that didn't work very well for either one of us, but I initiated a divorce. And then I made, looking back, I made my first major mistake, which was I didn't take any time between relationships to reflect on myself or to learn something from what I had been through. I just rebounded into another one, and I rebounded into the exact opposite relationship, which was basically all chemistry based. It was all sexual, which at the time for me was quite nice from what I had just come out of. And then we were together for like 2.5 years, and we were actually engaged to be married. And 6 months before the wedding, she broke up with me, and that destroyed me. I mean,
That's devastating.
yeah, I went through what I consider to be a 1-year-long midlife crisis where I couldn't sleep. I had heart palpitations. I had obsessive thinking. I was a lousy father that year. My career suffered. I was just a mess. Okay. Which led to my second major mistake. Instead of stopping at that point and maybe reflecting and doing some work on myself, I did the only thing I knew how to do to survive the pain, which is I just joined about 4 different dating sites and was just going to find another woman that would maybe help me forget about the last one. Okay, so you can imagine the amount of drama that caused, because even though I thought I was emotionally available, I really wasn't. And looking back on it, I think I was using some of these women I was meeting online to help me forget about the last one. So my heart really didn't have the space for someone new. And so there was all kinds of drama and difficulty that happened in that situation. And it was right about then that a friend of mine suggested something to me that looking back, it's hilarious that I didn't see it. But he's like, Roy, maybe you need to talk to someone. Maybe you need to get some help on your love life, because your professional life is fine, but your love life, man, dude, you're a mess with women. And the funny part about that is to be really honest and candid with everybody listening in here and watching, is I really thought that my love life was a mess because I just hadn't met the right woman yet. I thought, my ex-wife and my ex-fiance and all you crazy women online, I really thought it was them. It never occurred to me that I'm the common denominator in all of the pictures. And so I decided to hire a coach, mostly because I felt like, what the hell, I've tried everything else. But I went into it kind of kicking and screaming, not really thinking that maybe I had something to learn about me and what I was doing to create my relationship troubles. So I hired a coach, and one of the first things that she said to me was, Roy, I don't want to hear about your ex-wife and your ex-fiance and all these women. I don't want to hear it. I want to know if you're willing to look in the mirror. I want to know if you're willing to take responsibility for your part in creating all of this.
And you didn't walk out.
No, but I did bristle at that, because I really felt like I was a victim of these women and these situations, because I was blaming them. But I hung in there, and I decided to make that shift. And lo and behold, this may be surprising for everyone, but it was me. So I did discover that I had some serious blind spots, that I had some limiting beliefs, that I had some wounds from my childhood that were playing themselves out. Like, maybe we'll talk about this, but I discovered I had mommy issues. Okay. And I discovered that I had some issues going on in me, what I call relationship personas, fear-based ways of relating that were really responsible for the dynamics that I was in. So I worked with my coach for quite a while, and I really started to wake up to why I was attracting these women and what my part was in the dynamics that I was experiencing and the drama and the difficulty that I was in. And it wasn't very long after I felt like my coaching, was complete, that I met and started dating and fell in love with an amazing woman. And now I've been married for 14 years.
Oh, wow. Fantastic.
Right. So the reason why I have become a coach, it is not because it was never my dream. I never even thought of doing what I'm doing now with my life. It never even occurred to me. But when I got out of my relationship with my coach and I saw what it did for me and how my eyes were opened and how it transformed the whole trajectory of my love life, I'm like, this is what I want to do with the rest of my life. I want to do for other people what my coach did for me. And so my life now is about wanting to see if somebody wants to talk to me from the perspective of, Roy, help me stop blaming. And it's, of course, I don't want to mislead people that my wife and my ex-fiance and many of the women I met online didn't have any issues. Of course they had issues. They're human, right? But I'm looking for people that want to do what I did eventually, to look in the mirror and say, what am I doing to attract these types of partners and patterns and pain and problems over and over again? Because I was like living in Groundhog Day. I kept experiencing the same kind of relationship over and over and over again. And so, Karen, that's my mission now, is to invite people into the same conversation I had, because the transformation in my life is not because I got lucky. It's not because the stars aligned or God smiled on me. It was none of that. It was that I followed a particular process. I asked myself certain questions. I looked within myself in certain places. And all of that is completely transferable.
Yeah.
I just tell my clients, if you do the things that I did, you can have the same results I got. Because this is not about me. It's actually about the journey towards self-awareness is what it's about. And
that's
so
a scary
that's my story.
Journey, isn't it? That's a scary journey. And ladies
In the beginning,
who are listening, do you hear this? I hope that you are really hearing, Roy. It isn't just women who think that go through this pain. Men do too. So allow yourself to be a little bit more open and look at yourself, because that is where it all begins. That's what I ended up having to do when the Awesome Life Success System was created in 2018.
Yeah. Well, this is what I consider to be the biggest mistake that we make. And it relates not only to intimate relationships, it actually relates to any relationship, whether it's professional, family, children, friends, or intimate relationships. The biggest mistake we make is that we think that what's happening is because of them.
Yeah.
Right.
So all because of us, but we're not going to look at us.
Right. So in my line of work, here's the way I like to explain it. Okay. All right. So just imagine that the viewer right now wants to run in a triathlon, right? That long, all day long endurance test. They want to do really well in a triathlon. And then imagine that I'm a triathlon coach, which I'm not. I have a car if I want to go those kind of distances. Thank you very much. But some people like to do that kind of stuff. So you're a triathlon wannabe. I'm a former triathlete champion. Now I coach people. And so you want to hire me. I'm great. So we sit down to talk and you start asking me questions about the day of the race. Like, how do I survive in the water? Because it's a frenzy. And how do I transition from swimming to getting on the bike and then the bike to the marathon? And we're out there all day. So how much do I eat? When do I eat? What do I eat? How much water do I drink? Right. So you're asking me, quote, the expert, all the questions about the triathlon that are concerned about the race day. And as a former triathlete, I'm thinking, okay, those are important questions. Okay, no disputing that. That's not what you should be asking me about. You should be asking me, how do I get in shape for this? Right? Like, because if you get to that starting line and you're 50 pounds overweight, I don't care how good your strategy is, you're not going anywhere. Right? So you have to be in shape if you're going to go the distance. This is what I tell my clients. They come to me a lot of times and they're like, Roy, they have race day questions. Where do I go to meet someone? How do I approach them? Or how do I get them to approach me? How do I write my online profile?
Oh,
Or what
yeah.
do I
Oh, don't you
say?
love it?
Or how do I flirt? Or what do I wear? You know what I mean? They're asking me important questions, but they're sort of race day questions. What you should be asking me is, how do I get in shape for something real, something that will go the distance? You follow me?
And how do I know what will help me go to the distance?
Right. Yeah. Am I in shape to go the distance? What does that mean? And how do I know? And how can I even discover my current relationship fitness level? So you could say, Karen, that I'm sort of instead of a personal trainer, I'm a relationship trainer.
Yeah.
I sort of help people get in relationship shape so that whenever life or God or the universe, whatever you want to call it, whenever somebody is put in your path, however you might meet someone, you're meeting them, you're at that starting line, and you're ready to go the distance. But when we're not in shape, we meet people and we get the relationship started, but it doesn't last, right? It gets in some weird drama pattern that we're familiar with, or it lasts for 3 months or 6 months and then it fizzles out, right? Most people can point to a relationship pattern that they either attract the same kind of person or they get in the same dynamic all the time. And that's because they haven't done the training. They haven't worked on themselves enough. And so they get in the Groundhog Day and they keep doing the same thing over and over and over again and creating more and more pain and suffering. So that's the biggest mistake, is we focus on them and where do I find them? How do I meet someone? Where do I go? Instead of saying, if God put a great person right in front of me, am I ready to make this thing be a healthy, sustainable relationship?
Yeah.
And I'm hoping many people listening right now will look at their track record and not make my mistake.
Yeah.
It's not them. It's you.
And
I know you had a crazy ex, and I know men and women. Nope, it's you. At least you've got a big part in it.
I think
I was
that's
not
the
willing
key.
to look at that, but the moment I was, all of a sudden, I was, oh, I do have some issues, and I was able to work on those and change those, and now I'm pretty good at creating sustainable relationships with people. And so that's the offer, to kind of work on yourself, get yourself in shape.
You need to create that relationship with yourself, you know.
That's where
Stop
it
being the
starts.
people pleaser, stop doubting yourself, and just create a good relationship with yourself so
Yep.
that you can attract the right relationship.
Correct.
And I love that. I've been in a relationship for 52 years now.
Oh, good for you.
And we just celebrated our 52nd anniversary on Monday, as a matter of fact.
Wonderful.
But heaven knows, 3/4 of that time, I was a people pleaser.
Mm-hmm.
I was a people pleaser. I doubted myself. I trusted everything that he did and said. And obviously, I was not good enough. I had to rely on others. And finally, in 2018, I started to grow up and take a look at myself and say, wait a minute, I don't want to be a people pleaser anymore because I don't know who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And like you had to go and find yourself. You had to look in the mirror and find yourself.
Yeah.
And you know what is amazing? One of the things that keep people from having a good relationship is the fear of losing that relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's the way it was with me anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But the keeping that relationship alive and taking that chance of not knowing what the future may hold. But if you can create a relationship with yourself as you did,
Mm-hmm.
right, that is the key. and it fulfills you in every relationship you have, just like you said.
Yeah. Well, I definitely appreciate your self-awareness of being a people pleaser, and then your willingness to address that and take the risk of how it might affect your relationship if you quit being a people pleaser. Because
And
whenever
it was
you're
hard.
functioning as a people pleaser, the other partner in the relationship is functioning in their own persona.
Yeah.
And the two of them often are sort of complementary, because that's just pure codependence is that's what you're describing.
That's it, exactly. Yes.
So there's a codependence. So you're people pleasing, and perhaps the other person can be more narcissistic in sense of, because you're being selfless and I want to please you and what do you need? And the other person can be in a place where they enjoy taking advantage of all that, right? So if you stop being a people pleaser, then that means the other person, now the whole dynamic of the relationship changes, and that can be risky, right?
You have to
I
be
appreciate
ready.
that. And I could share very briefly, I had a similar thing, little different wording, but it might be fun to describe what I call my mommy issues.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I
Because
always hear about the daddy issues. So I'd love to hear mommy issues.
Well, I find in intimate relationships, when we're having trouble there, it's sometimes, I don't want to say always, but it's sometimes, or most of the time, can be traced to your relationship with your opposite sex parent.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So women would have daddy issues, men would have mommy issues, and it gets played out because we're unaware of the power of our childhoods and how they form the way we see the world.
Mm-hmm.
So this is what I call a relationship persona.
Yeah.
And without getting into too much child psychology, as little people, as little boys and girls, we intuitively figure out sort of who do we need to be in order to feel safe and get love in our families of origin, right? We can figure that out, that if I'm this way, I seem to get rejected or ignored or maybe even punished or dismissed. But if I'm this way, I feel attention and affection, approval, connection. So the little child is just brilliant at knowing, who do I need to be in this family to feel connected and feel loved? Now, that might not be their authentic self. They're developing a persona, a way of being that helps them be successful, you could say. Okay? That's what happened to me. I learned that if me as a little boy wanted to be close to my mother, which what little boy doesn't want to be close to his mother? I learned that if I was a good boy, if I made sort of my life be about fulfilling her agenda and doing what she wanted and being the little boy that she wanted or needed me to be, then I felt warmth and connection. But if I was more of my own person, my own needs, my own wants, and, a little bit more, quote, selfish, that I felt distance with her. I felt that she was more harsh or sort of demanding. She was kind of a perfectionist. And so I just learned to be what I would call good boy Roy. Good boy Roy got lots of attention and affection from mommy.
Yeah.
Okay. But bad boy Roy, which was just me being, more of myself and not trying to say, what does mommy need me to be and how can I take care of her so she feels okay? Right. Now, I didn't know that I was becoming good boy Roy. Right.
No.
I'm 3, 4, 5 years old. I'm just right. I'm
You're
just
trying to
figuring
survive.
out, right, how do I be close to my mother?
Yeah.
But it's forming an idea within me that this is how you get close to women. This is how you get the attention and affection from the feminine. Because you could say my mother's my first girlfriend. I mean, in a weird way, it's my first exposure to that type of energy.
Right.
So now you fast forward, a number of years ago now, I'm 40, 45 years old. And I'm in these relationships, and I don't call him good boy Roy. I call him Roy the rescuer.
Oh, yes.
Right? So I'm functioning like the way you get a woman, a beautiful woman, the way you get her attention and affection is if you make your life be about taking care of hers. Okay. So I function as a rescuer, and I'm not lying to you when I tell you that I would meet a woman within 2 weeks. I would be moving in. I would be raising her children, doing her laundry, getting her kids up to school, getting them fed, cleaning the house, washing the car, doing the laundry, doing the shopping. I would be making my life be about taking care of hers. Okay. Now, I didn't do any of that stuff from a place of love. I was doing it because I felt like if I didn't do that stuff, a woman would never want me. Right? So it was coming from fear.
Yes.
So I call this person Roy the Rescuer. And then when I hired a coach, my complaint was, why do I keep attracting women who have these high-powered careers? They're kicking ass and taking names and working long hours, but they're single mothers and they're overwhelmed with the whole thing. They can't raise their kids and manage their household and manage their careers. They're like damsels in distress. Okay? Why do I keep meeting women who are damsels in distress? And my coach is like, that's the only kind of woman a rescuer can be with. Rescuers have to have someone to rescue. Damsels have to have a rescuer. Because I kept complaining to my coach, I want to meet a woman who, she has a great career, but she's managing her life. She's on her game. I mean, she's handling it. She might want a man for support and that kind of stuff, but she doesn't need someone to come in and sort of rescue her from all of her overwhelm and stress and, oh my God, it's just so much, I can't do it, right? Why can't I meet that woman? Where do I meet that woman who's kind of got it more together? And my coach was great.
That's on game day. That's on race day, right? Well, where do I meet that woman?
Exactly. And my coach was great enough to point out that as long as I see myself as a rescuer, then I will only attract or be attracted to women who need to be rescued.
Yeah.
So I actually require the damsel in distress so that I can do my shtick of trying to be good boy, of trying to make my life be about taking care of a woman's. And again, all this is coming from fear. Because if a man or a woman feels like the way love wants to be expressed through their body is to take care of children and manage a household and the shopping, and then that's wonderful. I wasn't doing it because I wanted to. I resented it. Yeah. I did it because I felt like if I'm not that guy, she'll never want to be with me.
Oh, Roy.
Yeah. That's what I got from my mommy. You follow me?
Yep.
And all of my drama was because I saw the world as Roy the Rescuer. That's who I thought I was.
That's right? What made you happy, you thought.
I thought, exactly. Right. So that was my part of the codependence, is that I was like, I'll be the rescuer. And then for these women that I took care of everything. Well, you have all your free time now to have sex with me. Right. Because that's what my ex-wife wasn't interested in. Right. So the codependence is, I'll take care of your life if you take care of mine.
Yeah.
And that drama just doesn't work itself out for very long. So this is what I do with my clients. I help them sort of understand why they're attracting certain partners and certain dynamics. Because it's so common for women to say, why do I keep attracting narcissists? Or why do I keep attracting emotionally unavailable men? Or why do I keep attracting dynamics where it starts off really great for 3 or 4 months and then they just disappear, right? So whatever your pattern is, you are creating it because you're unaware that you're in some sort of persona, that you've got something going on, a limiting belief, a way that you're seeing yourself, a way that you think you have to be in order to get a man to be interested in you. So this is what I mean by growing in self-awareness. I learned that I had no idea who Roy actually was.
Oh, yes.
Right? Yeah. I was Roy the Rescuer, but I had no idea of my authenticity, right? And I remember the day when I told my coach, like, I don't even know who I'd be if I wasn't that guy. And her response was, welcome to the path. That's it. That's what the journey is about. Overcoming your childhood wounding and conditioning and all the unconscious ways that you've been living that are creating all of your drama. And so that's what I do as a coach, is help people go through those kinds of things, as well as what I call strengthening your relationship muscles, right? In my book, Relationship Bootcamp.
I love it. I
Yeah.
love that title. That is
Yeah.
so fantastic.
Yeah, I identify 7 major areas of our lives that I have seen that need to be strong. These relationship muscles need to be fit if we're going to be able to go the distance in a relationship. And of course, one of them is this whole relationship persona thing. But another big one, maybe we could touch on for a minute, is our relationship to the past.
Oh,
right?
Yes.
Most of us, I try to keep humor involved in this kind of thing. Otherwise, we'd all just start weeping. Right? It's like the only people that don't have a past and baggage are the little babies in the maternity ward, right? Everybody else has got bumps and bruises and scars and wounds, sometimes major trauma from your past, right? So there's a spectrum, but all of us have baggage. We've all been hurt. We've all been rejected or ghosted, gaslighted, cheated on, deceived, betrayed.
We all have trauma.
We all have this,
trauma. Right? There's
So,
big T, little t, but we all have trauma.
Yes, exactly. I love that. Big T, little t. Exactly. And so the issue is, is your past something that merely happened, or is your past something that's happening? Like, is it still alive in you?
Yeah.
I.e., trust issues.
Yeah.
What are trust issues? My past of how I've been betrayed, hurt, or lied to, that's still alive in me.
Exactly.
And now when I meet a new person, I'm going to be a little guarded, or maybe a little suspicious, or I'm going to build a wall around my heart because I don't want to get hurt again.
Yeah.
And walls will keep you safe, but they will keep you single.
And they'll keep you very unhappy.
Right, because nobody can get in to hurt you, but nobody can get in to love you either.
And you cannot love either.
Of course, right. So a big part of the work I do with my clients is helping them learn how to and learn what it means to let go of the past.
I love it.
And it doesn't mean you forget what happened. I mean, it's not like you're going to get a lobotomy of some kind, but you can make peace with it so that it's not alive in you, so that you don't meet or come in contact with a new person sort of with your arms crossed, or with your hand out like, I don't trust you. You have to earn it kind of energy, right? Because when you've made peace with your past, if you can see, you can meet somebody with your arms wide open. Like, my heart is wide open to you.
Yeah.
Like, I'm starting from a place of, I'm trusting. Yeah. I'm open. I'm available. I'm not starting from, I'm guarded, I'm protecting, and you've got to earn it.
Yeah.
Because if you meet a quality person, they can sense when they're being held accountable for somebody else's actions, right? So no shame in this. This is nothing to feel bad about, right?
Not at all.
But you got to deal with this. You can't have the past be alive in you, because you will put out that vibe that I don't trust you. You've got to prove it to yourself. And if I'm a guy and I feel like, man, I can't get close to her. I can't, she's really holding me off. But that girl over there, she wants to dance. Like, her arms are wide. Come play. If you're an idiot now, I'm going to kick you in the balls and send you down the road. Right. But she's starting from the place, come get me. Right. I'm available. And if you show yourself to be an idiot, no, we're done. But that's different than when the past is alive in us. We start from, I'm not available. You got to prove yourself to me.
That's the
And good
anger.
people don't want to, they don't want to jump through those hoops. I often joke that I've never met anyone that goes on a date with a sledgehammer prepared to knock down your walls.
That
Nobody
I
carries that
love
around.
that. That is such a great analogy. That is absolutely so. I mean, we want to have it a little bit easier. And if we can release those, I call them triggers, releasing the past.
Yes.
The things that we're doing to keep us safe from being hurt.
Right.
But it is also, until you start knowing and learning and loving yourself for who you truly are, which is what you help them see.
Right.
That is the key to having an awesome life. That's what it's all about.
Absolutely. And it's beyond the scope of our discussion right now to go into how do you let go of your past. Like, I have a whole process.
It takes a long
6
time
chapters
to do that.
on how to do it. But today I'm just wanting the viewer to walk away saying, one, might I have a relationship persona that is attracting these painful patterns and partners in my life? Or two, is the past alive in me to such an extent that it's sabotaging my ability to connect? And if I say yes to either one of those, I need to call Roy.
There you go. So, Roy, how do they get in touch with you? Because I know that is the A in awesome. It stands for open, allowing, and awareness. And those questions are key to that. So how do people get in touch with you?
There's an easy answer and then a free gift.
So yay, a free gift. We all love those, don't we?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The easy answer is my website is coachingwithroy.com.
How easy is that?
I hope that's pretty memorable, right? And all my books and stuff are on there, links to Amazon, audio books, the whole 9 yards, all that stuff. But since we're talking about the key to healthy relationships is about being in relationship shape, then wouldn't it be important for all of us to kind of know, I wonder what my current relationship fitness level is, right? Because if we went to a gym and hired a personal trainer, if they know anything about what they're doing, the first thing they do is they put you through a bunch of assessments to find out your current fitness level. And then with that information, they put a program together to get you in shape if you want to lose weight or whatever it might be. But they have to know what they're starting with.
Right.
So what I've created on my website is called the Relationship Fitness Self-Assessment Test. It's a way to discover your current relationship fitness level. And once you know that, then I, as a coach, can say, okay, now I know what I'm dealing with. Let me put a program together to work on these relationship muscles so that you can have the outcome you want, the goal, which is a healthy, sustainable relationship. So on the website, there's a 30-question true-false test. Takes maybe 3-4 minutes to take, okay? Absolutely confidential. Even I don't see the results. I just get notified someone took the test, but I don't see the results. You get your results immediately and confidential in your inbox as soon as you put in your email address to get the results sent to you. And I can just tell you, good news and bad news. The good news is the test is accurate. Okay. The bad news is most people discover that they need to get in better shape. So I try to tell people, don't be surprised if the test comes back and says, yeah, you need to do some workouts. You need to get yourself in better relationship shape. Okay. Because I took my own test. I wrote it, but I took it from the mentality I had before I hired a coach. And I scored in the worst level. Obviously, I was a mess. I mean, if I had scored high, then the test is crap, right? But no, I was a mess in my love life and the test showed it, right? So I tell people, don't let your ego get involved. If the test says that you got some work to do, just call me up and let's talk about putting a program together to get you in better shape, because you can have the same results I have if you do the same work that I did. And all of that is at coachingwithroy.com.
That is fantastic, Roy. That is really amazing because, these relationship tests, I know a lot of our listeners out there are looking for that love relationship. But the fact is, relationship, as I said at the onset, relationships are all different kinds of relationships.
Mm-hmm.
And I would expect that even I could benefit from your relationship.
Well, yeah, it doesn't matter
I'm
what your
sure of
status
it.
is. You can always get stronger.
You can always get stronger. You can always move forward. It can always get better than this. How does it get better than this? I don't know, but I can't wait to find out because it can always, always, always get better than this. And having this opportunity to be with Roy and having him share his expertise and his amazingness, and it's common sense, but how many of us have the common sense? It does take time, but not necessarily a lot of time. It does take a willingness to look in the mirror, as you were saying, and to really look in the mirror. And I really, really, truly appreciate your sharing your wisdom and your books. And I do encourage everybody to go to his website to take this test. And the links are down below in the comments, all of his contact information.
Yeah. And I forgot to mention, I even have my own podcast.
Oh,
Yay.
yay.
It's on all the platforms, Spotify, Apple. It's called the Attracting Lasting Love podcast. It's named after my second book. So yeah, I think there's at the time that we're doing this right now, I think there's 75 episodes that are live on my podcast. So yeah, that's another, and that's on the website too. So, the website is the hub for all this stuff.
Oh, super, super. Well, I am grateful, so grateful that you were on my podcast, and come on over to YouTube to see this conversation and this very handsome, happy man after all of this soul searching. But it does not have to be anguishing to be happy. It just means releasing the drama a little bit. Releasing that old story, that past that is driving you, and being willing to make the shift. Yeah. And it can be absolutely phenomenal because I'm going to attest to that. Your life does not collapse. It only gets better when you shift and become your own person. So Roy, thank you so, so much. And
thanks for having me. Loved it.
Any last words before we go?
Take action. I kept thinking that I just gotta find a better woman and things would just get better. So just do something, right? Hire someone. If it's not me, then hire Karen. Hire someone that has created in their life what you would like to experience in yours, right? Learn from someone who is, I often tell people, I once was blind, but now I see. I was lost, but now I'm found. I mean, I'm like one beggar telling other beggars where to find bread, right? I mean, my love life was awful. Now it's pretty damn good. And
I'm so happy for you.
I can help people do that. So take some action for yourself and kind of get out of the cycle of disappointing connections.
I love it. Thank you. Thank you so much. So don't forget, subscribe to the Awesome Life podcast and come on over to the YouTube conversations and like and subscribe to that too. My guests are awesome, and Roy is no exception to that. I love it. I love it. So until next time, have an awesome life.